Welcome to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm Dave Berk. We're joined by Dave Lapham in Cleveland following the Bengals' disaster, 24-3 loss to the Cleveland Browns in the season opener. And as always, First Star Logistics does a great job. Reminder, take part in all the giveaways this season each week the Bengals play. Dave, if I would have told you at the end of the game the Bengals had 2 turnovers, they took away from the Browns an interception, fumble recovery, didn't give up the ball, I think you would feel the odds were pretty good. The Bengals would have came away with a win.
Yeah, I harped on that many times during the course of the broadcast, Dave. I agree. I mean, I think you win a high percentage of the time when that occurs. I think that's probably the biggest positive that came out of the game. The Bengals' ball security was good, obviously, and 2 takeaways. I thought the turning point was the interception by Dax Hill. The Bengals could do nothing with it and missed a 50-yard field goal and, gave Cleveland good field position as a result of that miss. And then it just kind of got separated and the Cleveland Browns pulled away. But honestly, looking at the offense, it was just could never find that rhythm, that timing, the execution. If you're a tick-off in the National Football League, you're going to get exposed. And they were definitely a tick off. There's no question about it. And you got to give Cleveland's defense credit. I mean, their pass rush was significant. On the back end, they played really good coverage. The Bengals players in the locker room after the game here have been saying, that they knew exactly what Cleveland was going to do, yet still couldn't execute. So you got to give them credit where credit's due. They made plays when they had to, and both teams were abysmal on third down. The Cleveland made explosive big plays on first and second down. Weather was a big factor in the game. The light drizzle made it very, very slick. Joe Burrow had a glove on for a while. Ball fell out of his hand one time when he was trying to make a throw to the sideline, just completely. And Deshaun Watson was putting the ball on the ground, just trying to hold on to the ball, and was holding on to it too long few times. So I mean that was a factor, but both teams had to deal with it, and the Cleveland Browns dealt with it much better than the Cincinnati Bengals did. They ran the ball, and that's what you have to do when the conditions are tough to throw like that. And Cleveland was able to generate a much more efficient and successful running game. Chubb went for over 100 yards. Deshaun Watson's quarterback run package was a factor in the football game. Cleveland earned it. They deserved it, and they got the win.
Joe Burrow, 14 of 31, 82 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe Mixon, 13 carries, 56 yards. Jamar Chase, 5 receptions, 39 yards. Player of the game, probably Brad Robbins, 10 punts. Jim Schwartz, you talked about in your keys the fact that the Browns brought in a new defensive coordinator, had a lot of experience, a lot of success. He looks like he has the Browns defense dialed up.
Yeah, I mean, they look fast, and all 11 guys. I mean, it wasn't Myles Garrett had a big sack at the end, obviously, on Joe Burrow that gave Cleveland a short field where they scored a touchdown down the stretch to help pull away. But when the Bengals went for it on fourth down, but he didn't wreck the game. He didn't dominate the game. It was just all 11 guys were doing exactly what they were supposed to do when they were supposed to do it, hitting the gaps they were supposed to hit, covering the people they were supposed to cover. I mean, there weren't any assignment error breakdowns. I mean, they just, as a unit, it looked like, it was like an amoeba. Everything was flowing as one. It was really impressive to watch. They really played a hell of a game defensively. There's no question.
This is not uncharted territory for the Bengals having a slow start. We saw it last season. Joe Burrow missing all of training camp. Was it rust? Was it weather? Was it the Browns defense? Just a combination of everything. And as you've talked about, whatever it is, the Cleveland Browns have the Bengals number.
Yeah, I mean, Bengals haven't won up here since 2017. They haven't won a road opener since 2019. So, I mean, it's not something that, woe is me, throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, they've dealt with it. The last 2 years, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. And last year they went to the AFC Championship game, and both years they lost up in Cleveland. So it's unfortunately it's nothing new. They seem to struggle up here and had the same scenario today. But it's one game, and Baltimore comes to Cincinnati next week. You got watch the tape, learn from the mistakes, and bounce back. And you get a division rival coming into your house. You gotta try to win that football game for sure. I mean, last year they started off 0-2, and ended up 3-3 in the division, and ended up 1-10 in a row and going to the AFC Championship game. So you can't assume any of that's going to occur. But the fact is, they did do it, and they've all experienced it. The guys that were on the team all experienced it. I mean, it just happened last year. So you certainly don't want to lose a football game the way they lost this football game. Don't get me wrong. You wanted to come out with a victory. The other thing that I think hopefully they look as a positive is there weren't any significant injuries. It didn't look like. I mean, a lot of times it takes overnight. You wake up the next morning and guys end up with problems they really didn't realize that they were as bad as they were when they went to bed. But as of right now, it doesn't look like there's anything really, really major. That like the Browns lost Conklin, their right tackle. I mean, looked like a serious injury. He was carted off the field, and so that's that's the deal.
You always have a chance to go into the locker room post game. What was that mood like when you went in there this time?
Solemn, no doubt about it. But nobody making excuses. Just manned up and basically Jamar Chase was saying we played like crap, but he wasn't using the word crap. He was using the SH word. So I mean, there's obviously a frustration. Guys know they're better than that and didn't live up to expectations, and they're prideful of their performance, and they certainly weren't happy about it. That's for damn sure.
A lot has been being made right now, and I look at the different boards out there and messages and so forth by people, fans of the Bengals. The fact that again, majority, almost every starter did not take reps on offense, especially with Joe Burrow being out with the calf injury. Is it a good practice, or do you feel at some point in time you got to say, hey, we got to get some reps and run the risk of losing someone from an injury?
Yeah, well, I guess the answer to that is if you do give them reps, you run the risk of losing them to injury in the preseason. And that's the whole philosophy behind it is you get through the preseason and you go into the season healthy. And, it's a long season, 17-game season. And, you're certainly not a product of what you're going to be at the end of the season, at the beginning of the season. But it is tough to continually dig yourself out of a hole. And that's what they're in the process of again now, but they've done it before. So they know how to do it. It's just a matter of getting it done.
You're listening to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, presented by First Star Logistics. And Dave, we look at the defense. You had to be happy with some of the things you saw. Jermaine Pratt, big plays. Dax Hill, some big plays. Cam Taylor-Britt. Really, Lou Anarumo, he always dials it up, but they were just on the field too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody in the locker room, particularly the offensive players, said the defense played winning football. They played well enough to win the football game, and the offense felt like they totally let the team down, and that's a definite. I mean, they offensively couldn't get any rhythm, any timing, any kind of tempo, anything at all going. There's no doubt.
142 yards total offense, 67 passing, 75 rushing, 2.6 yards per play. All right, Dave, we regroup and we get started again next week. It's the sun's going to come out tomorrow. Hopefully it is here in Southwest Ohio compared to Northeast Ohio. And this team, like we said, they've been here before. They've done this before. They've climbed out of an early hole. Is it harder? They did it last year. They lost to the Steelers in week 1, AFC North game. What do you think of the outlook this week, the steps that'll be taking going forward this week, getting ready for week 2?
Well, you look at the tape. You certainly don't run away from it. You look at the tape, you learn, you move on, and you have the best week of practice you ever had, and you get ready to beat the Baltimore Ravens. And Dave, I got to go. I got to jump on the bus.
All righty, Dave. As always, appreciate your time. You listen to Dave Lapham in the Trenches, presented by First Star Logistics. That was Dave Lapham coming from Cleveland. As you heard, he had to get on the bus, get back to Cincinnati as the team has to regroup after a tough 24-3 loss to the Cleveland Browns in the season opener. Again, this was In the Trenches with Dave Lapham. I'm Dave Berk. In the Trenches is presented by First Star Logistics. Also a reminder, each week the Bengals play this season, First Star Logistics will be having great, gigantic prizes giving away. A little bit of time when this is released, you still get in on the week one. 3 signed Jamar Chase helmets will be given away. And you want to make sure if you have an opportunity to get in there, but deadline will end 11:59 today, I believe, on Sunday, September 10th. But another game next week, another gigantic giveaway from First Star Logistics.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.